My name's Mark, I'm 32, divorced, and I work underground. Not in some metaphorical sense. Literally, I'm a maintenance subcontractor for city infrastructure. Mostly utilities, sometimes old subway lines. I fix what needs fixing. I see what others don't want to. 2 years ago, I was sent on a job that changed the way I look at the world. I've only told one person since, my brother, and even he looked at me like I needed help. Maybe I do. But everything I'm about to tell you happened. Every word. It was a Saturday in late July. My company got an early morning call from a city engineer. Something about an old station underneath Roosevelt Line sealed off decades ago after a partial collapse. Apparently, a new sensor showed elevated humidity and CO2 readings coming from one of the sealed shafts. Just check it out. Snap a few photos, log the air levels, and mark anything dangerous, my boss said. You're not patching anything up. Just ease on. It was supposed to be a two-man job. I was supposed to go down with a guy named Vince, but he called in sick last minute. Our foreman didn't care. He told me to go solo and be quick. He was more worried about overtime than safety. I didn't push back. I should have. Access was through a locked maintenance room in the lowest level of the active 56th Street station. The place was already a relic: grimy walls, old signage, humming lights that buzzed like mosquitoes. The maintenance room was behind a steel door with no markings. I'd never noticed it before. Inside was a shaft with a bolted ladder that dropped maybe 30 feet down into darkness. I lowered myself slowly, boots hitting wet concrete at the bottom, my headlamp cut through a low-ceiling passage just wide enough. For a person, the air was thick, stale, like something that had been locked away for too long. I walked for 10 minutes, maybe more. There were old power lines overhead, most dead, some humming faintly. Pipes lined the walls like ribs in an animal's chest. Eventually, the corridor widened, and I found myself stepping onto a cracked subway platform, like someone knew I was there. I froze, heart suddenly loud and... My chest power shouldn't have been live. The station was decommissioned, sealed off since the 80s, and yet the fluorescents buzzed and popped above me. I walked slowly down the platform, scanning everything. The place was a time capsule. Old posters peeling off the tile, rust-covered benches, graffiti on every surface. But not the usual kind. No tags, no cartoons, just words, one phrase. Over and over, don't stay past the second sound. Painted, scratched, written in Sharpie, in chalk, even carved into the tiles with something sharp. Always the same phrase. Sometimes crooked, sometimes overlapping, but always there. It was like the walls were screaming it at me. I should have left. I know that now. But curiosity is a hell of a drug. I pulled out my phone and started taking pictures. The signal was gone, as expected. I made notes of air moisture and ventilation issues, cracked piping, fungal growth near the tunnel arch. Then I heard the first sound. It wasn't a clang or screech, like you'd expect underground. It was a tone, long, low, resonant. It seemed to vibrate through the floor and into my legs. I turned toward the tunnel. Nothing there, just darkness. The sound faded. Silence returned. I waited a few seconds, then shrugged it off and snapped a few. More photos. That's when I noticed the claw marks. 3 deep gouges running parallel down a concrete support beam. Then more on a metal bench. Then dozens scratched into the tile wall, as if something had raked across it over and over. The scratches were old. Some rusted over, but some looked fresh. Something scraped through the dirt on the platform floor, too, like something dragged. I felt the hairs on my arms stand up, and then I heard the second sound, louder, higher in pitch. Almost metallic it came, from deep inside the tunnel. This time, the lights cut out. All of them, gone. My headlamp flicked on automatically, casting a narrow cone. The beam trembled as my hand shook. That's when I saw movement, just beyond the edge of my light. Something retreated into the shadows. I didn't get a good look. All I saw was that it was tall, slouched, fast, too fast for its size. And the air suddenly felt too warm. I started backing away. Flashlight pointed toward the tunnel. Then something echoed behind me, scraping. I turned, nearly dropped the light. More. Scratches, fresh. On the tile just feet away from where I had entered, and then I heard it. A breath, not mine, slow, wet, close. I bolted. Back through the corridor, my boots pounded through puddles, slamming into concrete with each panicked step. I didn't care about photos, notes, anything. I just wanted out. Something followed. I could hear it. Not footsteps exactly. More like dragging, scraping, but always just behind me. The shaft appeared ahead. I climbed so fast I nearly fell. My hands slipped on the rusted rungs, but I didn't stop. I slammed the maintenance door shut and twisted the lock. For a second I thought I was safe, until I heard it again. That second tone, but this time it was behind the door. I ran out of the station. Into the hot daylight. I don't remember if I screamed, but people stared. I got in my van and drove. I didn't stop until I hit the interstate. I didn't go back to the office. I sent my boss an email saying the shaft was blocked off. Couldn't access it, never heard back. Maybe he didn't care. Maybe he knew. A week later, I checked the job logs. There was no record of the Roosevelt substation in the system, none like it had been wiped. But here's the worst part. About 3 months after that, I saw a news blurb. A kid had gone missing while exploring an abandoned section of the subway. The picture showed the graffiti behind the boy's smiling face. Don't stay past the second sound. I still dream about it sometimes. I hear that tone again, and sometimes, in those dreams, the lights don't go out. They flicker, and I see it, tall, bent, watching, waiting for that second sound.